Hi, I'm Rod from the Department for Child Protection in South Australia. The short video you're about to watch is a snippet from a longer conversation that talks about how you should address selection criteria of a job description when you're applying for a state government job. You can watch the full half-hour video on our YouTube channel if you'd like to give your application an advantage. We hope you find it useful. What are selection criteria and where do I find them?
Okay, so when you apply for a job, all the applications are reviewed by a specific group of people known as the selection panel. The group is made up of people who are familiar with the role or environment that you will be working in. Your application needs to convince the selection panel that you have the qualities, skills, experience and knowledge to do the job. The capabilities you need are listed very clearly in the role description that you access through the job advert. Here in DCP, we call them selection criteria, although you may also see them listed as core competencies or key outcomes. Some other government departments might refer to them as minimum essential requirements or something similar. But whatever they're called, it should be pretty obvious. For the sake of simplicity, let's just call them selection criteria. The selection panel will check your application against the selection criteria so that all applications are judged fairly and equally.
So you're saying I need to meet all of the selection criteria to get the job?
Yes, but there are a few caveats. Firstly, if you don't have any work history to match the criterion, remember that most of us have transferable skills from volunteering or life experience. They can count just as much. Secondly, the selection criteria are what help the panel to shortlist, but they're not looked at in isolation. Read the whole job description so you can respond to the selection criteria based on the needs and outcomes of that specific job.
So hold that thought, we'll come back to that a bit later.
Sure. The third thing to know is that not all selection criteria are equal. They're sometimes divided into important and less important criteria. The important criteria are weighted equally against each other unless it's stated otherwise. The less important criteria are rated equally against the others at that level, and they have a lower weighting than the important criteria. That said, the chances of your application progressing will be greater if you meet all the selection criteria, not just the important ones. Remember, you are probably competing against a lot of other applicants, so you need to show the selection panel why you're the best fit for the job.
Good point, good point. I know when I've applied for a job in the past, I sometimes get so focused on my own application that I forget that it's kind of like a competition, isn't it? I don't have to just show that I can do the job, but I need to show that I can do it better than anybody else who's applying. So my key takeaway from that is that in my application, I should treat all selection criteria equally, even if the job description has rated some of them as less important.
Correct. But like everything in life, there's always exceptions to the rule. Sometimes you'll see the selection criteria listed as either essential or desirable instead. In that instance, essential criteria means that you must have that skill, qualification or experience. If you don't have it, you're less likely to be shortlisted. Desirable criteria is a nice to have. It can put you ahead of the competition, but if you don't have it, your application won't automatically be excluded from progressing.
Okay, so to summarise, the selection panel will rate my application against the criteria to see if I have the skills, the knowledge and the experience needed to do the job. I have to have all of the essential criteria to be seriously considered for the job, but I don't have to have all of the desirable criteria, although that will increase my chances to progress through the process if I meet them too.
Yes, correct.